happy to be with you today to tell you about the Transportation Forum that we conducted on May 10th, so very recently. So this event was supported by the Disability Action Center, New Hope Resource Center, and Coast Transportation as additional partners. And really, key component of this was developing those individuals and leaders in expressing their viewpoints on policy change needed to serve all areas of Spokane County. So we have currently 94,000 people that live outside of the public transit benefit area that don't have access to sustainable transportation options. So it was a really great event as far as participation from community organizations. It had two components where we were able to get feedback from the community in terms of just a testimony. And the other part was a method of data collection, a survey that was conducted during the meeting. And so really my ask to the greater collaborative of BHT today is if you have any way to help me in dispersing that a community survey, the community voice survey about transportation needs outside of served areas. I would love to enlist your support in that endeavor for about another month period of collecting the data. And so there's two short surveys that I'll also drop into the chat for you. The first one is really about your agency as a whole, and then the second is the community voice survey. And so if there's anything that we need to do to coordinate a methodology of getting that to the people who utilize transportation, who need transportation, I'm happy to work with you in that process. So yeah, we can continue beep to the next slide. So some clear themes certainly developed, first of which is certainly the idea of health on one side of the line versus the other in a benefit area and not. Then certainly the idea of choice came to really top of mind in very many different ways and different voices through the session. And that's the choice to live where we choose, the choice to be with the people we choose, and the choice when we have those choices to be able to fully participate in our communities. And transportation makes access to all of those things. Also, height of mind was connections and social fabric of less urbanized communities. People experiencing life with disabilities, what it's like to be stuck behind these four walls, and really the logistics of opportunity and growth for youth and people trying to work towards their goals for health and opportunity. And really, at the end of the day, what it looks like when systems do work, when we have transportation systems like volunteer driver systems, where volunteers can reach out in the community and build relationships with their drivers and become best friends. So on to the next. So the initial survey responses that we have so far are starting to, come together to show what it really means to the individuals who don't live in city of Spokane or Valley. Having lived in their residences many years and having connections to people close to where they live, the sense of security and support that they have, a drive towards the joy of being independent and comfort, all were initial responses. So, beep. The continued themes of the survey, we definitely had kind of a dynamic ask of the survey about everything down to what kind of service model would be the best service model for the individual. So Participants ranged 29 to 82. 36% of the individuals who've responded so far were age 60 or older. The majority of these respondents had private insurance. And when scheduling rides, they were okay with 1 to 2 days in advance and preferred booking their trips online. The need for healthcare appointment access versus social connectedness emerged as a significant factor. So showing strong needs for being able to have recreation access, the ability to visit family and friends, and truly the amount of responses for individuals that said they had strong connections with their neighbors seems strong so far. All things that we want to continue to get a larger pool of data on and continue to evaluate. Beep. What are the gaps in transportation options in your area was discussed during the forum. And so some of the highlights there, transportation again for non-Medicaid clients, access to food, and even factors that we might not think about at onset when we think about transportation. A method to be able to get away from abuse was something that came forward in the testimony from the survey. So yeah, on to the next slide. So again, a significant theme was the ability to maintain nutrition and the effects of that for positive mental health. And really, at the end of the day, I think the last testimony put forward in the survey kind of sums it up as a kind of a whole project of what the service would do is economy can grow for everybody in equitable ways if and when we have access to transportation throughout our county. So my contact information is here in the chat for anybody who would like to continue to follow up with me for the next stage of disseminating the survey, and all of your feedback is welcome, even if you don't have the ability to do that on the agency survey aspect. So that's all I have for you.
Thanks so much, Holly.